and welcome to the second episode of the Crime Calls podcast, where crime is only one call away. This is part 2 of 4, where I am covering the case of Jack Unterweger, the serial killer golden boy. If you haven't watched part 1, what are you doing? Go do that first, because the story will not make sense if you start from here. And plus, be a girl boss and watch all of the episodes to understand the story better.
Yeah.
And because you get to see us here, best part. This episode does not contain any triggering subjects, so there's no trigger warnings for this episode, so we are all good to go. In our story, we're left off with Jack Unterweger being sentenced to life in prison for the murder of an 18-year-old prostitute, Margaret Schaefer. As I said in the first episode, I can't pronounce these names properly, so I'm going to be putting in clips of Google saying them correctly for me. Okay. While in prison, Jack Unterweger became very literary and developed a passion for writing, which inspired him to write and publish short stories, plays, poems, and even an autobiography based on the childhood trauma he endured and the crimes that followed, which we covered in episode 1. Go watch it. I highly suggest you do that. And Jack Unterweger became a very talented writer in prison. So,
At least he draws his attention to something else, That's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, at least he wrote about, his childhood trauma.
He writes fan fiction.
Yeah. It's okay, girl boss. Started up a career, started up a business in prison.
Wattpad fanfic.
Literally. If Wattpad was a thing, he would use it. Wattpad is another type of thing. Jack Unterweger's autobiography, which I'm not going to say the name of, I'm going to put it up on the screen and Google saying it.
Fegefeuer oder die Reise ins Zuchthaus.
Which in English translates to Purgatory or the Trip to Prison, Report of a Guilty Man. This autobiography caught the eye of a well-known director who then adapted the book into a feature film.
At least he's self-aware. At least, I'm guilty.
He is very self-aware. And, he landed a whole movie deal in prison. That's crazy.
I'm not in prison, so if you're a movie director or anything, casting director,
if
call
any
me.
movie directors are watching this, hire us and write a story about us.
I'll be a tree in the background. I can do anything.
I mean, I can literally dress me up as a tree and I'll be there in the background.
You just stand there. It's
Yeah, I'll do that easily. There was no doubt that Jack Unterweger was a good writer. This earned him literary respect inside and outside of prison. The feature film based on Jack's autobiography was said to be an overnight success, and the book garnered critical acclaim within Europe. In 1984, Jack Unterweger touched the lives of many people with his emotive and evocative writing. This caused an uproar in the literary community in which people demanded Jack Unterweger be pardoned and released from prison because he was very literary talented and seemingly a changed man. So these people were like, get him out of prison, come on, please. Look how
fan fiction.
They were like, please, we need more stories, more fan fictions. But yeah, these people really campaigned for him to be pardoned from prison for murdering an 18-year-old prostitute.
Good theory he wrote after. Put this man back in prison.
Put him back in prison. He's not allowed out. At the time, Austria had undergone a rehabilitation program for violent crime. When European celebrities started joining and demanding for Jack Unterweger to be pardoned, this ended up working, and Jack Unterweger was released from prison in 1990, only serving 15 years of his life sentence for murdering someone.
Isn't life 25 years? I swear.
What, life in prison?
It's 25.
Life in prison is you literally stay
apparently it's not though, so I read it. I don't know. I don't take. I mean, it tastes like gospel truth, but I read that life only means 25 doesn't mean complete life. And it's called life in prison, but apparently.
But I think he was supposed to serve much more.
Yeah.
Because probably, yeah. But 15 years for murdering someone is not enough. You strangled them with their bra. It was a very planned crime. You clearly wanted to do it. And he ended up doing it. But these people just saw him as a complete angel. Don't know why. After only serving 15 years of his life sentence, when Jack Unterweger was released from prison, he was a celebrity amongst people, and prison officials believed that Jack Unterweger was a changed man. They even used his story as their success story to show how Jack Unterweger changed for the better during his time in their prison. So they were like, oh, marketing, PR, let's go.
I mean, if they did see him as a changed person, because, like, again, I kind of understand why they kind of let him out of prison.
Yeah, it's understandable because he had no literary talent before going into prison, and he came out, like,
Just
with
focus
an
on that.
autobiography.
There's, like, more motivation to do that.
Yeah, it does show other prisoners, like, what you could achieve within prison so that you don't disconnect from society.
But also, it's like, if you don't have any literary talent, or if you don't find that, then what are you going to do after life in prison?
Or if you just learn what you've done is wrong and you want to change for the better, then that's good. Go for it. When Jack Unterweger was pardoned from prison, he became a literary superstar, booking speaking engagements and appearing on talk shows to discuss his experience in prison and how it changed him. Little did everyone know, prison never changed him. Jack Unterweger was now living a celebrity life, dressing in a silk white suit with gold rings on several fingers and gold chains around his neck, and topping his look off with a signature red flower corsage.
Okay, little star icon.
Yeah. He really came out of prison. He was like, I'm gonna get all these gold chains and rings, silk white suit. That's expensive. Silk as well.
But now silk is not expensive.
But I think back then, like, to get a good silk suit. And after being pardoned from jail, Jack Unterweger's autobiography would be studied in Austrian schools, and his stories for children were performed on the radio, further praising him for his literary talent. But had he truly changed for the better?
I bet they regret this.
Yeah, I bet after they were like, oof, no, should have kept that guy in prison. All them European celebrities should have stayed quiet.
But, like,
yeah, they should feel guilty for letting this criminal out. But this is where I'm going to end the second episode. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to tune in to part 3 of the story. Come back in the third episode to find out about the start of Jack Unterweger's brutal killing spree.